The 22nd gift is the gift of graciousness. It is a rare and beautiful quality that has a profound effect on everyone it touches. Graciousness means that whatever you do in life, you always consider the feelings of others. This is one of the great social gifts, and if it is a part of your hologenetic profile, then your whole life is geared towards impacting people's emotions in a positive way. Even if this gift is not a primary aspect of your profile, it still has a huge capacity to completely transform your life and the lives of everyone you meet. The 22nd gift is not just about stirring people's feelings, but also about touching their hearts and even their souls. Graciousness means that you act with grace and consideration in everything you do. Just like its shadow, the 22nd gift is extremely powerful in its effect upon others. As the shadow can leave another feeling utterly dishonored and disturbed, the gift of graciousness can greatly help others become free of their negatively charged emotions. There is a profound kindness at the core of this gift that can elevate others beyond their normal consciousness to states of love, laughter, or tears. For this reason, many people connected with this gift assume artistic, musical, or vocal roles in life where they can influence others through their natural social grace. As we saw with the shadow, people at the lower aspects of this gene key do not acknowledge their accountability for what they say or do. At the gift level, however, you begin to see that all is interconnected, all things and all people. You realize at a deep level that we are all being listened to, and you inherently know that if you do someone an injustice, it will come back to you. This in turn means that other people feel deeply understood and listened to around this gift. This profound awareness of karma means that a great deal of your work in life will lie in the sphere of relationships and the emotions. At the gift frequency of this gene key, you learn to temper your own emotions, releasing them safely without disrespecting others or yourself. With the gift of graciousness, you begin to disperse your own karma and that of your ancestral DNA. This is a huge task, and it means that even though your relationships may be deeply challenging, you always maintain a frequency of respect around others. The 22nd gift also ensures that you balance your respect of others with a healthy dose of self-respect by not allowing yourself to become a victim of someone else's emotions. This delicate balance between service and self-love marks you as someone who profoundly understands the power of emotional suffering. Because of this, others will look to you for guidance and authority. The gift of graciousness might also be called the gift of soul. It is the ability to live life to the full, holding no feelings back, whilst at the same time having deep respect for the feelings of others. If you are fortunate enough to tap into the higher qualities of the 22nd gift, your life can be filled with art, music, romance, deep relationships, and enchantment. But above all else, this is the gift of living life from a place of deep love and soul. The Venus sequence, a direct transmission of graciousness. In the summer of 2004, during a rare transit of the planet Venus across the front of the Sun, a profound knowledge came into the world. Called the Venus sequence, it uses the 64 gene keys in combination with astrological data to pinpoint the exact patterns of karma that an individual takes on during each incarnation. The Venus sequence reveals karma as a genetic sequence that unfolds throughout your life. Your ability to accept this karma with graciousness determines how quickly and easily you transcend your own suffering. Furthermore, as the sequence of your own karma unfolds and is transmuted, it reveals the higher frequencies that allow you to expand your consciousness and attain the higher states. The Venus sequence is the great science of human suffering, showing us precisely how every human being shares in world karma, or the sacred wound, through being genetically imprinted with it at the point of our conception. As we unravel our Venus sequence, we discover an inner path of awakening behind our suffering. This culminates in our having to embrace one of the 6 essential core human wounds. The 6 core wounds of humanity. 1. Repression. 2. Denial. 3. Shame. 4. Rejection. 5. Guilt. 6. Separation. These 6 patterns are laid down in a unique sequence in your DNA. Once you have access to your own sequence, you will finally understand the basic script of your life process, particularly as regards your relationships, where your karma is mostly played out. The wound itself is directly tied to the lower 3 bodies, the physical, emotional, and mental. Through clear mental understanding and a gentle emotional process of self-forgiveness, the very patterns that cause human beings so much pain actually lead us directly to liberation through the higher 3 bodies. This is both a process of evolution, described in depth in the 55th gene key, and a process of involution, whereby the higher frequencies within your DNA are being activated through the agency of grace. However, the prime teaching of the Venus sequence concerns showing another human being, through relationship, how to take responsibility for their own feelings instead of projecting them onto others. This ability is the very essence of the 22nd gift of graciousness, and is preparing humanity to make the great leap into freedom, the 55th gift. The 22nd Siddhi, Grace, the 7 sacred seals and the biological apocalypse. In the sacred book of Revelation, St. John the Divine wrote down his famous description of the apocalypse, the so-called Judgment Day, where all world karma is finally redeemed and all human suffering brought to an end. Despite centuries of misunderstanding by religion, the revelation of St. John contains some of the greatest initiatic secrets ever written down. One of these secret teachings is known as the 7 sacred seals. In allegorical form, St. John describes the sequential process of the opening of each of the 7 seals by an angel, and the subsequent unfolding of the 7 stages of the apocalypse itself. It is not until the final 7th seal is opened that evil is conquered and humanity ascends to a higher plane. When we decipher this allegory, we can see that each of the 7 seals and its accompanying angel represents an agent of grace, an involving spiritual force or siddhi descending from the higher vehicles and directly affecting human DNA. The apocalypse is really a biological phenomena, a judgment day within our genes as a new species of human prepares to be born. Within the matrix of the 64 gene keys, there are 6 gene keys that directly reflect this involving power of grace, the 7th being the 22nd Siddhi of grace itself. The 7 sacred seals and their respective siddhis. The first seal, Divine Will, 40th Siddhi. The second seal, Omniscience, 17th Siddhi. The third seal, Universal Love, 25th Siddhi. The fourth seal, Epiphany, 43rd Siddhi. The fifth seal, Forgiveness, 4th Siddhi. The sixth seal, Truth, 63rd Siddhi. The seventh seal, Grace, 22nd Siddhi. The 22nd Siddhi of Grace always works through the field of these 6 siddhis or divine attributes. Thus we can see that each of these sacred seals is a divine code sent down from higher consciousness to heal a specific aspect of the sacred wound. Just as there are 6 aspects to the sacred wound, so there are 6 divine aspects responsible for healing that wound. This process takes place both individually and collectively and is described here. The opening of the first seal, Divine Will. The first seal is opened by the Siddhi of Divine Will, which heals human repression. Repression is the primary wound of humanity, since it refers to the very storage of karma in the DNA of the physical body. It is because of the layers and layers of karma in your DNA that the higher, subtle bodies are obscured from your awareness. Karma is a deep physical tension expressed as fear, and it inhabits every cell of your body. Only through the grace of the 40th Siddhi can this karma be transmuted. The 40th Siddhi represents Divine Will, which is the only force powerful enough to transform all the layers of tension. Divine Will actually means complete relaxation, so as this seal opens throughout humanity, the physical body finally comes into complete relaxation. As it relaxes progressively into deeper and deeper states, the higher subtle bodies can express themselves fully. In the end, your body becomes nothing more than a completely relaxed instrument of divine will. Because this seal has to do with releasing core tension from the physical body, at a collective level, It will eventually eradicate all disease from our planet. The opening of the second seal, omniscience. The second seal is opened by the 17th siddhi of omniscience, and its target is the wound of denial. Denial is the external expression of fear as anger and aggression. If your core wound is denial, then you are unable to see and take responsibility for your own negative behavior. The more someone tries to show you your denial, the more powerful it becomes. Throughout humanity, this wound expresses itself through fundamentalism, violence, and sexuality. The only force that can break denial is omniscience, which is what occurs when, even if only for a split second, your vision is opened and your higher bodies literally look down into your mental and astral bodies. This notion of being seen through comes as a deep shock to the recipient, who usually experiences a complete and permanent rebirth after the event. Once you can see your own denial, it is no longer denial. It is through the opening of this second seal that certain people experience sudden conversions or higher callings. At the collective level, this seal will bring great healing to human sexuality and will eventually extinguish violence. The opening of the third seal, universal love. The third seal is opened through the 25th siddhi of universal love. This is one of the most pervasive forms of divine grace, and as it reaches down into human beings, it triggers a huge wave of release that can spread from person to person like a positive virus. This seal heals the human wound of shame. Shame is brought about by a profound feeling of worthlessness. It is out of this feeling of deep shame that the whole world of hierarchy and competitiveness has come about. As the siddhi of universal love descends into humanity, our urge to escape our own shame through selfishness and greed gives way to feelings of great joy and self-love. It is this self-love that leads to altruism and philanthropy rather than competition. Shame is obsessed with hiding, but universal love shows you that no matter where you hide, love is still there. It is through the opening of this third seal that you finally begin to enjoy life for what it is, rather than always chasing some ideal future. As humanity experiences this opening, it will lead to a complete breakthrough in the way we use money and a final ending to human greed. The opening of the fourth seal, Epiphany. The fourth seal is opened by the 43rd siddhi of Epiphany, symbolized by the descent of the dove of peace. Epiphany heals the wound of rejection, the wound that keeps human beings from opening their hearts fully to one another. Epiphany is actually a shattering experience in which the higher three bodies, symbolized by the gifts of the three magi of the Christian Epiphany, explode through into the lower bodies, opening the heart from the inside. As this seal is opened, the many barriers that humans have erected will begin to fall away. Our countries, borders, armies, and all aspects that attempt to protect and defend us from each other. On an individual level, the fourth seal opens the potential for you to lead a truly romantic life where you need hide nothing from anyone and in which you wear your heart openly on your sleeve. Once human beings overcome the fear of external rejection, they become pure agents of grace through their friendliness, openness, and honesty. On a collective level, this seal opens the heart center in humanity and manifests as kindness. This siddhi will bring an end to world poverty. The opening of the fifth seal, forgiveness. The fifth seal is opened through the fourth siddhi of forgiveness. As one of the great involving siddhis of grace, forgiveness has a special purpose: to work its way backwards into the collective DNA of humanity, releasing the many karmic blocks that plague the various gene pools. The fifth seal is specifically targeted to heal the patterns of unconscious guilt upon which karma is built. Guilt is a kind of karmic debt which exists between one person and another, or even between one race and another. As the power of forgiveness works its way into the human genome, so many ancestral curses will finally be lifted. This seal in particular has the capacity to create world peace, as individuals and whole nations forgive others the debts they are owed. The grace that comes with forgiveness has unprecedented power and brings a sense of true justice back to humanity. Forgiveness is a direct manifestation of the fifth body, the Buddhic body, which has the capacity to literally burn karma out of our DNA. At a collective level, the releasing of all this world karma will bring an end to war. The opening of the sixth seal, truth. As the final stage in the sequence, the seventh is the glorious afterglow, the sixth seal delivers the coup de grace as it heals the ultimate human wound, that of separation. Because to most of us the higher realities of our true nature are obscured, we have essentially been separated from the divine for most of our lives. Because we feel this separation so keenly, we constantly seek fulfillment in the outer world. Ironically, it is this very seeking that keeps us from experiencing our true nature, which is to be found deep within our own suffering. The opening of the sixth seal is made possible through the 63rd siddhi of truth. Truth is something you become one with, rather than something you find out there. Through the opening of this seal, every individual will come to know their true nature as an aspect of one vast consciousness. Absolute truth is a collective phenomenon that will one day be fully embodied as the whole of humanity spontaneously recognizes itself as a single divine organism. Only then, at that marvelous moment, will all human seeking and striving come to an end. So it is that this 63rd siddhi, through its direct realization and expansive embodiment, will bring a crushing end to the greatest of human curses, indifference. The opening of the seventh seal, grace. In the book of Revelations, the opening of the seven seals is surrounded by a layer upon layer of rich apocalyptic imagery. Unless you are well versed in alchemical symbolism, it will be very difficult for you to penetrate to the true meaning of this wonderful prophetic transmission. There is, moreover, a demarcation between the opening of the first six seals and the opening of the seventh seal. The seventh seal involves 7 angels and 7 trumpets, which sound the final judgment of humanity. The seventh seal is the spirit of grace itself, represented by the 22nd siddhi, and grace descends only after great transmutation. It is like the rainbow that appears after the great storm, bringing complete transfiguration, the 47th siddhi. On an individual level, the seventh seal represents the final absorption of all the previous 6 layers of the human aura into the monadic body, the primordial essence. At this level, even the flood of revelations and high frequencies of the atmic body must be surrendered into the void of what the mystics term the seventh heaven. We are told in the book of Genesis that God rested on the 7th day of creation, and this sevenfold pattern is reflected in many other cultural traditions. In the Hindu system, when the 7th chakra, known as the Sahasrara, blooms, the divine essence can finally reunite with the material plane. St. John describes this event as the coming of a new heaven and a new earth. As this 7th monadic plane absorbs the final vestiges of our separateness, each plane below and its frequencies disintegrate to be reintegrated as the true monadic essence. This is the meaning of the sounding of the 7 trumpets, which represent the 7 layers of frequencies of the human aura. At the collective level, the opening of the 7th seal refers to the coming of the final human epoch and the return of the human race to its original Edenic state. It is the great trumpet fanfare announcing the redemption of all beings. The meaning of spiritual initiation. The final aspect of the transmission through the 22nd gene key follows the story of the individual human soul itself. All human stories enact the same mythic process or storyline, albeit in infinite and uniquely diverse forms. As our incarnative process recycles into new and different forms, each activating different inferences of human DNA during each lifetime, our great transgenerational story deepens. Like all great drama, we are weaving a multi-dimensional tapestry of different colors, tones, and hues from the rich fabric of experience. Throughout every incarnative story, however, stands one immutable question that keeps us coming back: the question of our suffering. It is our changing relationship to this question that marks the various stages in our journey through time and space. There are 9 major landmarks along the way, and they are known as the 9 portals of planetary initiation. Spiritual initiation can mean many different things to people. The word initiation itself might conjure up all sorts of mystical rites you may have witnessed or heard of. Certainly in tribal societies, initiation is seen as a rite of passage, particularly for young men who must perform some kind of test at a certain threshold age before entering full manhood. Other ancient teachings and/or societies have systems of initiation that are performed as elaborate rituals at certain stages in an aspirant's life. In truth, however, spiritual initiation is a natural organic process that occurs to all human beings at a certain point in their lives. In essence, initiation refers to the naturally unfolding stages of all spiritual awakening. Initiation occurs to you no matter what you are doing in your life, and once it has begun in earnest, when you have passed through the first initiation, it is irreversible and inevitable.